Alrighty, I got the fence cleared all the way down today, and I found the old well that is on the property. This used to be used to fill the swimming pool, and I don't know if you can see down in there, but there is water in there. It's only maybe 10 feet deep, so that's good to know. I can see that water's ugly as hell, but that'll come in handy if we got to get things up and running on a power down situation. So after I finish up with the chicken coop project, this might be my next project, seeing if I can revitalize this thing. Tried to move that, that's solid, that's wedged in there, so power tools will be required, but we'll see if we can get this thing cleaned out and maybe operational with a hand pump or something. But that's all for now. Fence is cleared for the chickens, and that's about all I got for you. Again, short update, nothing major. Y'all have fun. Howdy. Just got this Eco-Worthy 12 volt pump, and I'm doing a little bit of a bucket test on it, seeing how much power it draws. I'm currently powering this with a Kobalt 40 volt battery, which is connected up to a box. I got a switch here, turn it off and on. This is running to a step down, step up converter. This will convert anything from 8 to 40 volts to 13.8 volts. And then it's going out to the pump here. It's a temporary setup, it's mainly for testing, but that board will probably stay the same. And amp draw, which I was just checking, I don't think I can do it one-handed. Getting 2.5 amps from the pump, between the pump and the converter. I'm getting 7.5 amps to the Kobalt battery. So curious how long this Kobalt battery is going to last, drawing 7.5 amps. But first part of the function test is done, and we'll be dropping this thing 75 feet down a well pipe probably sometime next week, and we'll see if we can get water out of that old well. That's all I got for you. Later. Howdy. I got all the other materials I need, I hope, to complete this well pump install. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what else you're going to need besides the well pump itself. This is the Eco-Worthy 12 volt submersible well pump. That'll cost you between 75 and 85 bucks, depending on the if there's any active coupons on Amazon. Links for most of the stuff will be in the descriptions. We got a 100-foot 14.3 power cord. Wanted to get a basic one without any illuminated heads or anything. My plan for the power cord is to cut off the prong end about 5 foot, and then that will go onto my power board. And then when I want to bring out the power board and fire up the pump, I'll just plug it into the female end when I'm ready for it. To connect to the barbed fitting on the well pump, you will need about a foot of 1/2-inch poly hose. I couldn't find this in less than a 10-foot roll, so I've got 9 foot left for another project in the future. Yay. Hose clamps as well. And because I want to connect this to PEX, the only way I could figure out to do it was to get a barbed PEX connector. I'm not sure if that's going to show up, but basically it looks like this, but it's brass. And to go along with that, a SharkBite 1/2-inch NPT to 1/2-inch PEX connector. So the barbed connector and the NPT to PEX will get screwed together. I'll do that in a moment. And then we'll just connect the PEX into that after about a 1-foot span of poly hose. Other things, check valve, 1/2-inch check valve for PEX. I got a SharkBite brand, about $8-10 bucks. Most of these fittings are about $8 or $10 bucks a piece, depending on where you get them. And in addition to that, I got a butt ton of fuses. I only really need a couple, but I got spares. It was $7 bucks on Amazon. Per the manual, it recommends a 7.5 amp fuse connected to your pump.
On my power board, I have a 7.5 amp going up to the pump and a 15 amp protecting the battery. Also, I want to give a shout out to whoever made their manual. I didn't even read it at first because I'm so used to getting manuals that suck. This manual is actually pretty good. Got some good details in there. All right, I'm going to start putting things together. All right, a quick correction. When I reviewed my last clip there, I noticed I called that 1/2 inch barb connector a 1/2 inch barb to PEX. That is 1/2 inch barb to 1/2 inch male NPT. And the PEX connector is 1/2 inch PEX to a 1/2 inch female NPT. As you can see, I have stuck the two together, and that'll get stuck in the end of the hose. One other item that I forgot to mention is you're going to need some heat shrink tubing for the wire that is going to be underwater. Just finished attaching about 5 feet of that extension cord to my power converter here. What this is, it takes a Kobalt 40 volt battery input that is running the straight 40 volts through these two 12 gauge wires up to this block. It goes first to a on-off switch, then loops through, goes to a 15 amp fuse. There is one more space available should I want to put a float switch or something in there. It then runs at 40 volts into a buck converter. This will take anything from 8 volts to 40 volts DC and convert it to 13.8 volts DC, which is coming out over here. I have a 7.5 amp fuse there to protect this box, a 15 amp fuse to protect the battery, and then I get my 13.8 volts coming down here, which will connect into the pump, basically by plugging this into the other end of the cord, which will be stuck to the pump. Also on this setup, white is positive. I have to remind myself of that because I do house wiring mainly, and white isn't supposed to be positive in my world. But I'm going to go and I'm going to start wiring up the pump now. And then we're going to give it a test to make sure that this battery will still power it with the addition of 100 feet of extension cord. And give it the bucket test first, and then we'll start doing the plumbing.
Hey, well, if you're like me and you managed to make it about 60 years without ever having to use heat shrink tape, practice on something first. Wife's hairdryer? Nah, didn't work. Ended up having to use a cigarette lighter, so heat shrink the two wires that matter, electrical tape the crap out of that, ran a full tube over it, electrical tape the crap over that, ran another full tube over it, and I'm about to electrical tape the crap over that one too. I'm pretty sure I got it watertight. Tried to use butt connectors, fail. Because I had two dissimilar sized wires and they weren't going to stick in the same butt connector. So basically it's just spliced in there, electrical tape, heat shrink, electrical tape. You get the point. I've been spending the last 20 minutes screwing with that. But alright, moving on. Alright, we got success. I'm doing another bucket test here. We are running through the full coil of 100 feet of wire. And using the Kobalt battery board there. That was my main concern, was if this was still going to function with the added resistance of having 100 feet of wire there. See, it's just plugged in right from the board, and just as much pressure as we had before. So I'm just going to slap that piece of pipe on the top there. And it's getting kind of late, so tomorrow I'm going to drop this thing down the well. Alright, that's all I got for you for today. I'm going to stitch this video together, and tomorrow I'll be making a new video on dropping this thing down the well. So the only thing left to do is drain my bucket here. Alright, we'll see y'all tomorrow, and I'll be dropping this thing down the well about 75 feet. Y'all have yourselves a great night. Good morning, January 7th, 2024. And today is the day that we put this old well back into action. This well was built sometime back in the 60s. It has been abandoned for at least 30 or 40 years. It was open to the elements for at least a few decades before I put the cap on it. And we're going to try and get this thing up and running today with a 12 volt Eco-Worthy pump. I've already hauled out the pump, the rope, and the power cord. That's all hooked up. I got some pipe to haul out here. And I'm going to bleach this thing before I even drop this pump in here. Because with it being open to the weather for several decades, who knows how many squirrels have gone down that thing. One confusing part of this well is this guy. I put a little bottle over the top of it just to keep it clean, but when I was tampering with a well last summer, there was a large pipe on the top. I dropped that pipe accidentally, of course, and it weighed about 500 pounds. Took a really long time to fall down, and when it did, water shot out of this pipe. So not sure what that actually connects to. It's about a good 6 feet away from the well. And just so you can see what was here, see those cement pylons. There was a very large water storage tank here back in the day as well. But alright, I'm gonna stop blabbing and get to work. Alright, I got everything I need to do this all hauled out here. I'm going to drop about a half gallon or more of bleach down the well first, followed by about 5 gallons of water. And then we're going to hook up that first 20-foot piece of PEX pipe to the pump, throw a check valve on there, put the other 100-foot of pipe onto that, and start lowering this thing down.
There, I'm just gonna drop a good deal of bleach down here first. It's probably about a half gallon. And mix that up. I love that sound. Alright, well, that part's done. Alright, I'm just going to kind of let this thing run as I work here. And I'm not going to be screwing with the camera too much more. Alright, so I got the well pump tied off to the fence just in case I screw up and drop it. Got the first 20 feet of pipe on there. I'm going to put the check valve on there. Make sure I get that in the right direction. Alright. You're good. Alright, I got the 100-foot roll of PEX unbound. And hook it up to this one. Then we'll start sending it. Alright, she's all together. Got some electrical tape in my pocket so I can start taping this together as it goes. This video is going to be like 3 hours long, and you're going to see about 2 minutes of it. Now we've hit water. So I've hit water, and I am not even to my 10-foot mark on my power cord where I spliced it together. So the water level actually sits pretty high. And I still got About 110 feet to go. I probably don't need to tape it this much, but I'm taping it about every 5 feet or so. At least till I get to that blue pipe. Alright. To the check valve, we're 20 feet down. Or 20 feet almost in the hole. I do have the rope marked at 75 feet, so I know about where I want to stop. I have no idea how deep I am right now. I just know I got a lot of blue pipe left. But I should have about 30-40 feet of blue pipe left when I'm done. When I hit 75 feet. And here, try to tangle again. Alright. Got to my 75-foot mark. Yeah, this rope is tied off to the fence posts. I just want to kind of keep it here while I take a breather. Actually, it doesn't look like it's sliding anywhere. That pipe, with all the twists and so forth, is really hitting the side of the well. I'm going to stop this video while I catch my breath.
Alright, we are at 75-foot depth. Got everything running through the old rubber cap there. I'll neaten that up later. Lost a microphone playing with all this hose, but I do have it tied off temporarily. Hose and power are running through the fence, so it'll take me a little breather, bring out the power supply and see if this thing shoots out water. Back in a bit. Alright, it's a moment of truth now. Hopefully that hose is in the frame. Too much glare for me to see. Got my other microphone. Battery in, power on. You can feel it vibrating. I hope this is on camera. We got freaking water. "75 feet deep down in that well." Don't look pretty, but we'll let that thing run for a bit. I'll let it drain over the side, and we'll see if it cleans itself up. It freaking works. Alright, there we go. We have well water. It is brown. It just started pumping. Gonna let this thing run for a good while. Get whatever nasty's in there out.
But this is the Eco-Worthy pump, 75 feet down an old well, and the bugger's working.
I'm just curious what the flow rate is on this, so I'm going to fill a bucket and then I can time it. 5-gallon bucket. Alright, I've had this thing running for over an hour now. Let's see if the water's looking any better. It's definitely coming out clearer than it was. Not getting any rust particles like I was. It's got a slight tint to it. But we'll let this thing run for another few hours and see how clear we can get it. Back in a bit. Well, the chickens are checking out the new toys. What's up, smokers? Pok, 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 pok. Water's still flowing. That's been running about an hour, and it's only used 1 bar off the 4 amp hour battery. That's the main thing I was checking, make sure the battery's still good. And we'll see if the water's any worse or better. Looks like it's slowly clearing up. Still got some yellow tint to it. Alright, I'm going to let this thing run another hour or two and then check on it again. Hey, jiggies. Pop, pop, pop. What's up, smokers? Pop, 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 pop. Hey, it's a week after I installed the well pump. Just doing a short update here. Didn't get a chance to flush it out much during the week due to horrible rainy weather. Flushing it again now. Water is coming out a bit clearer. When I first started up the pump this morning, it was brown sediment, clay, kind of nasty. This is a current color that I'm getting. And as far as power supply, walk over here. I'm running it off a 6 amp hour battery right now. It's been running for 2 hours, and it's down to 2 bars. So this obviously isn't going to be a good permanent power solution, but it's good for testing. Eventually, if I can get this water clear, I'll probably be going with a solar setup, but want to get this water tested before I invest any more money into it. And odds are I'm going to be getting a sediment filter. It's only going to cost me about $50. Run that in line with this, and we'll see if that makes the water less yellow. But I believe it's mainly clay and rust in there from the old well casing. But that's all I got for you for now. Later. Hey, very short update because I'm in the middle of doing stuff. This morning when I turned the well pump on, started off orange again, nasty as hell. I had it running almost clear after running that pump for about 4 hours. So today I am simultaneously running a garden hose down here. I don't know if you can see the sediment or not, but trying to float out as much sediment as I can out the top of the well. Well, I don't know if you can see that over there. Well, running the pump and getting nice orange water out the pump at the same time. So hopefully after I waste about 1,000 gallons on my water bill, we'll get this thing cleaned up a bit. Also, this freaking mystery pipe. Was running water down that. It would take the water, then it would burp up like a bunch of dirt and debris and stuff. So I'm assuming there's a check valve or something on the other side of that pipe. The well was easily 20 feet to the water line. Look down there, there's no inlets or anything on there. This thing is definitely connected to the well somehow, but I have no freaking clue how. But that's less nasty than it was. But this is what I'm doing today. Driving up the water bill and trying to flush all the crap out of this here well. Oh, and I found out there's a nice cement base here, which I'm gonna dig up while this thing's running, because it beats just watching water. I don't know if you can see all the crap that's floating to the top, but there's a lot of crap floating to the top. So, alright, post another update couple of days, I guess. Have a good one. Howdy, it's Sunday, January 28th. Had a filter for the well water system arrive last week sometime. Weather has been crap, so it's finally not too bad out there, so I'm going to get around to installing this thing, put it in line. This is a Culligan model WH Sam 200-Charlie. Alright, when I bought this model, it said it had a bypass valve. I assumed the bypass valve meant it would bypass it out a third port on the top and just shoot it out that way. However, when you hit bypass, it just runs straight through, ignoring the filter. The reason I wanted a bypass valve is so I could purge out the initial burst of crap that comes up every time I run that well pump. So what I'm going to have to do is connect the 3/4 inch MPT to 1/2 inch PEX connectors, run about 1 foot of PEX or so, hook it into that there T, and then just run a standard tap there. So on well startup, I'll have that tap open, and it should purge out there instead of going through the filter. And then when the initial crap is out, we will put this back into filter mode and let it run through. So that's pretty much what I'm doing today. I also have to mount this thing to a chain link fence for now, because I don't have my tank and structure that I'm working on. So probably going to get a 2x4, basically sandwich the chain link fence between two pieces of 2x4 and just hang it up that way for now. So that's what I'm doing today. Back in a little bit. Alright, this is what that well water looks like after the well not running for about 2 weeks. You can see it's a lovely rust orange color there, which is why I want to put that bypass in there to purge this stuff out before it even hits the filter. And then once that runs clearer, we'll run it through the filter as normal. It's coming out all right now. Basically, once the water that's in the pipe being held by the check valve clears out, you get about a 30-second burst of this, and then it starts running clearer, not incredibly clear. Alright, I got the PEX adapters mounted to the well pump. Just want to show you the back side of this. This does come with a rather sturdy bracket, which is now installed, and there is my bypass T, which is installed before it hits the filter. So now I just got to go make a way to hang this thing off the fence. Oh, one tip. If you can't get the bypass filter to move, or the bypass valve to move, that little bit of the handle is for the bypass valve, and I actually needed to use that with a lot of force to get it broken free the first time. So, and the red button is just a vent, it's not a lock. That was confusing me too. Alright, so let me go make a brace. Alright, I have the temporary mounting done for the well water filtration system here. It ain't pretty, but it'll do the job until they get a real tank here and get a proper setup. Then I'll make this look a little bit more professional. So in order to flush the initial crap out, we're going to set the top to the off position. We have our well water feed coming up the middle of that T. Our drainage or bypass valve is open right there, and because I ran out of PEX, I got a very short nozzle coming out there when I finally get this thing going. Easy enough to add on to that, though. I just got to go buy more PEX. So fire this bugger up. I have it in bypass mode right now. We'll see what happens. Alright, flipping the switch. Rinse out some of this rust in here. At the moment it looks like it's coming out pretty clear. I had this thing running about an hour while I was tinkering around out here, so let's switch this thing to running through the filter. I'm going to flip this to on. Oh, on. Turn that off. Give it a moment to saturate or do what it's going to do. Looks like I got this is a recycled PEX T, so apparently it's got issues. See if I can tighten that up. Alright, sorry I had to kill the video there when the neighbors came home and the dog started going nuts. This thing's been running about 4 or 5 minutes maybe. You can see the filter is sucking up that iron, and I just pulled a bottle out and looks good and it tastes good. I already had myself a little sip here, so definitely making progress. And next step is to right about here plop me down some type of a storage tank, and obviously I gotta swap out that that old PEX T there, because you know that's recycled and that's just dripping away. But system's working, so if the shit hits the fan, I can actually get me some fresh water now. So this filter here, I'll put a link into the filter in case you're looking for it. It was about 45 bucks. It got a 2-pack of extra filters. It was like 15 bucks for the 2-pack. So I'll put all that stuff in the description. Everything else should be in the earlier videos. And yes, I'm still using this for my power testing, which you can see how I made in an earlier video as well. Next step is a tank and getting a solar panel out here, so I ain't got to worry about batteries. We'll just let it fill the tank while the sun shines. Alright, so I did just drain out the filter here because we are going to be hitting freezing temperatures again probably in the next few weeks. So basically I'm just leaving the bypass open so anything can drain out, turning the filter to off, and you just remove that filter glass there, dump out all the water. And I've also hung my filter tool here with a piece of paracord just in case I ever forget and have to run out here in the middle of the night. I won't have to hunt for it. So now I'm done. I'll back up, get a full view of this amazing setup here, and this will progress. Next step, get a tank, and then get a solar panel, and then if the shit hits the fan, we'll have water. Howdy, it is February 3rd, 2024. So I got some bad results on the well test here. Turns out I have a pH of about 4.5 coming out of this well. I had a full test kit that I ran on February 1st. It showed 0 alkalinity and a pH of 6, which is basically the lowest it would read. So I went and got myself a low pH test kit off of Amazon, and comes out with a 4.5 pH, which is very acidic. So I need to figure out how to correct this, if it can even be corrected. And also on that results, it did a bacteria test. Coliforms came out 0. I'm going to splice in the rest of the testing after this little rant here, so you can see how the test kit works. The test kit worked very well. It just told me things I didn't want to hear. So if anybody out there knows how to raise a well pH from 4.5 to 7, hit me up. Right now my current idea is getting a bunch of calcium or limestone or something, pulling the pump and dumping it down the well and see if that makes any difference. Everything I'm Googling online is basically telling me to buy a $2,000 filtration system, which goes beyond the scope of this project. So, alright, I'm going to start splicing in the rest of this video, and y'all have yourselves a great day, and please answer in the comments if you have any clue how to raise this pH level. Thanks a lot. Howdy, it's February 1st, 2024. And I got myself a well water test kit from Amazon. My previous tests were just with an old freshwater aquarium kit, just to see if there are any nitrates, stuff like that. But now we can do the whole spectrum here. The brand is Lawnful, Lawnful. This kit was about 25 bucks. It comes with 100 strips, basically 5 packs of 20 inside this little tube here. And it has coliform test kits. Basically there's a powder in here. You fill this with the water, you shake it. If there's bacteria, it will eat the powder and the water will turn a different color. So you got 4 of those and 100 test kits, so that gives me plenty to test, everything I need to do. On here, the reason why I leaned towards this one is it had more metals that it was testing for. All of them have lead, but this one had manganese, copper, and hydrogen sulfide, which is something you want to make sure you don't have in there, as well as multiple other things. That's not going to focus, but you get the idea. And I'm going to take 3 bottles of water out of the well. I've got 3 labeled here, N, P, and F. N for nasty, that brown sludge that comes out. I want to see what's actually in there, at least for metals wise. Then I'm going to take one before the filter and one after the filter. And I'm going to do the coliform test before the filter. And another reason why I'm filming is apparently you have 60 seconds to record the colors, and camera got a better memory than I do. All right, let's get on with it. All right, got the filter set to off. My bypass is open, and turn this thing on, and we'll see if we can catch the nasty sample here first. It's going to go clean for a second while it gets everything out of the pipe that's caught behind the check valve, and then it's going to go ugly. Yeah, there it comes. Yeah, there we go. That's what we get a burst of every time we turn it on. So we'll cap this one and wait for it to run clear, then we'll take the next samples. All right, letting the well pump run for a bit, flush out all this rust and stuff that you see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the nasty water first. So this is our test strip. Instructions are dip it in for 2 seconds, pull it out, let it dry, and then do your reading. So let's see what we got here. The strip is in the first position. But this thing, it does actually kind of stick to the bottle, which is handy. And it's the part you hold goes first. And I'm just seeing if I can get a good image of this so I can look at it later. It's been running for about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to pull my pre-filter sample. And yeah, that's pretty, ain't it? I'm going to let it run for a bit longer, then we'll pull a filtered sample. Alright, next test is going to be on the water pre-filter after about 15 minutes of running. As you can see, it is still discolored. Dip her in for 2 seconds. And shake off the excess. And you do want to keep this horizontal, otherwise the colors will run into each other, which I kind of discovered. And I'll just kind of lay it up against the thing here. So as you can see on the bottom, make sure I'm on focus here. Bottom strip is what I got, and then it's going up against the chart here. Make sure I get a good picture of this so I can review it later. for my colors. I would say we're probably at 1 milligram per liter of copper, which is on the high end of safe. Lead is 0, which is very good. A little bit of copper ain't gonna hurt you. Manganese is 0, and alkaline is 0, but 0 is not in the recommended range. So apparently you're supposed to have some alkaline, but not 0, and I've got 0. So, alright, I did a bit of Googling after that last water test. Apparently 0 alkalinity will not harm you, but it will corrode the hell out of your pipes. So that might explain why I'm getting bursts of rust every time that I fire up this well pump here. So I'm going to have to find some way to boost the alkalinity. Otherwise we're probably going to have some corrosion problems. So I will Google that further and we'll see what we're going to do about it. And I'm just letting the water flush a little bit more and out here hanging with the chickens. So back in a moment. Alright, we're going to give the post filter water a go here. In there for a couple of seconds. Tap off the excess, stick it to the side of the bottle. Alright, so you can see, I don't know if you can see, but at the bottom, that's our alkalinity. We're still at 0. That's going to be a concern. I'm going to have to correct that. Sodium chloride. That's looking in the good, maybe 100. Fluoride 0. Zinc 0. Sulfates between 0 and 300. Again, kind of hard to tell. Nitrates, nitrites, chlorine all 0. Manganese 0, lead 0, that's good to know. Copper, we got a bit of copper in there. We're probably at about 1 milligram a liter. Iron, it took the iron way down. We are near 0 on iron now after that filter. Hydrogen sulfate 0. Hardness off the scale blue, pH off the scale low. So we got to find some way to correct the alkaline level in that well water there. So I'll be Googling that. The last test I have to do is the coliform test. This one basically I'm just going to put some water in there, shake it, and then I got to wait 48 hours and see what color this turns here. So I'm not going to bother filming that one. I'm going to wrap this up now. Alright, y'all have a great day. I'll be back with more on this well project. Howdy, it is February 10th, 2024. I believe I have a plan to try to deal with the low pH and 0 alkalinity issue in the well. If you watch the previous videos, you will see the well test results. Purity was okay, no bacteria, but pH of 4.5 and 0 alkalinity. So I want to correct that. I also want to correct that within the well instead of externally to the well, as is a common method. Basically, you would normally pump the water out of the well, run it through a filter media, calcium-based, which would then raise the pH of the water. My plan, my original plan was to pull the well pump and dump a couple 100 pounds of marble chips down the well in an effort to treat the entire well that way. Seeing how I do not know if my well has a bottom, and I really don't want to take the hassle of pulling up my well pump, I have come up with a new idea. So what I plan on doing is getting myself a piece of 3-inch, 10-foot PVC drainage pipe. Unfortunately, locally you can't buy that with holes, but I got a drill, I can make holes. So get the 3-inch wide by 10-foot long piece of PVC drainage pipe and a cap, drill a crap ton of holes in it, and then fill that up with marble chips. By my calculations, it should hold about 40 pounds of marble chips in a 10-foot pipe. It's using assorted charts and stuff off the internet for capacities of pipe. And then I will lower that to about 10 to 20 feet above the level of the well pump and hang it there by a rope. So, don't know if it's going to work, but it seems like a better plan than what I was thinking of before. So, in a little bit I'm going to be heading off to Lowe's, grabbing some stuff. Got to make a swing by Tractor Supply and so forth. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to try and get this thing done today or tomorrow. We'll see. But I figured I would share my plan in a separate video, and then we'll do the work in the video that will be posted next. Alright, y'all have a great day. Y'all take care of yourselves. I'm going to start off with a little science experiment here. Firstly, that water to the left, that is the pre-filter. You can see all the iron that is precipitated out of that water. And on my right is post-filter. And the pH was coming in at 4.5. I got myself a bunch of marble chips. So, ooh, look at that react. Alright, so basically I'm just going to leave that marble chip in there for a bit, and while I cut up my pipe and do what I got to do, and then we'll come back and we'll see what the pH changes to. Alright, going to start drilling holes in things here. Drilled a couple of holes in the cap so some good old calcium juice can secrete down upon my well pump there. And got my 10 foot of 3-inch pipe in the vise, and I'm just going to start drilling holes. Alright, it took me this many holes to remember that when you're drilling through plastic, you want to run the drill in reverse. Get a much better result. Alright, I've successfully drilled a bunch of holes in this thing. I'm using a 3/4 inch spade bit running in reverse to make these holes. Going every foot or so, then rotated, and then went every foot in the middle there. Left it a bit solid near the end, and also up near the front where I'm going to be tying my rope onto this thing. I don't want it, cracking or doing anything weird when it goes down the well. So I just got to clean up these holes here, put a cap on this thing, then we'll fill it up with marble rocks, and we'll plop this bugger in the well. Alright, so I got the pipe blown out with the air compressor, got all the little chips out of there, and we got the cap on there. So now I'm going to see how many pounds of marble chips I can fit in there. And I'm using the Oakley Hot Blue Lava, which is a 1-part cement that works a whole lot better than the 2-part primer for an underwater situation. Alright, just to show you what I'm shoving down the pipe here. This is a Quickcrete Essentials Marble Rock, and that's what she looks like there. And I'm just sliding her on down the pipe. Alright, we got most of a 50-pound bag of marble chips down this pipe here. So I got maybe 5-10 pounds left there. And that's filled up pretty much right to my tie-off hole. So I'm going to run a rope through that I can tie onto. And then I'm going to haul this bugger over to the well. Alright, got the PVC torpedo ready to go. Got it tied off up at the top there. Got it going through the cap, tied off to the fence post. Got my gloves, so I'm going to set you up on the tripod, and we're going to send this bugger. Got a pre-cut 75 feet of rope, so I'm guessing it's going to go down about 60 feet-ish. I got a little bit hot on the hands, but it's down there. Let's go see how that little water test thing did. Alright, I got the marble torpedo down the well. Now, at the start of the video, I threw a rock in here, same type that I'm sending down there, marble chips. And we're going to see what it does, just a pint of water having one rock in there. See if that increases our alkalinity or anything. So, give it a little tap. Alright, and I'm going to lay it down on the thing here. Alright, so our experiment of putting one stone in there and seeing how it affects the alkalinity and the pH was successful. So that's my alkalinity there. I'm hoping you can see it. That was yellow. Now we are in green. Again, this isn't really proportional to what the well water versus how much marble rock. This is one rock inside of a 1 pint jar. But it did raise our alkalinity to not zero. And our pH seems to be 6.5-ish, which isn't bad. So that rock was in there for 2-3 hours, maybe, however long it took me to do this little project. And so the concept is solid. The question is, will 40 pounds of it inside of a PVC pipe hung 10 feet above the well do the same thing? And that's what we're going to find out. All right, so I'm going to go run the well pump for a bit, let it circulate some water through that marble chip PVC tube torpedo thing that I just dropped down the well. And we'll test the water probably tomorrow and see if there is any difference. I don't think it's going to be an instantaneous solution, but as we saw a little experiment here, apparently the concept is solid, so we'll see what happens. $50 in this project and a day of tinkering around, and we might have fixed the problem. So y'all have yourselves a great day. I'm going to go splice all these little pieces of video into one big video, and we'll talk to you soon. If you enjoy this, like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Y'all take care. Hey, it is the morning after I installed the marble torpedo calcification system in the well. And I just did a test result and I was extremely pleased, so I'm doing one more on camera so you all can see it too. And get that on there. Alrighty. Hopefully it will focus on that. Look at that alkalinity right there. That was yellow. That was 0. Now we're, whatever that number is, I gotta zoom in the video and read it later. But it is green now. Also, pH is off the red. We're into the orange. I would say, again, pardon my eyeballs, I'm guessing that's a 7 now, which is freaking perfect. Everything else, nothing else looks like it's changed. Hardness went down, which is expected. But it freaking works. $50 PVC tube filled with marble rocks, dropped down the well above the well pump, and we have corrected the freaking pH problem that was going to make me just abandon this damn well. So I'm quite happy. I don't know if you're happy, but I'm happy. So I had to share this. Freaking yeah. All right. More to come later. Look at how green that is. Do you see that green? Can you see that? Can you see that? That's freaking green. All right. Bye. This is my next project here. I set up these blocks here to make a stand for the water tank that I purchased last weekend. It was very unlevel, as you can see by the gap underneath that wood. My frame is all level, so now I get to go to Lowe's and buy about 600 pounds of cement and make myself a slab so I can build up my stand again and mount that water tank. Fun times. Alright, back later. Alright, that was a fun couple of hours. Made myself a slab. If you're wondering why that cement block is in the middle there, it's because I was maybe a half bag short on concrete and I needed to do some displacement, and the middle don't matter, so I threw in a freaking cinder block, and that got me up to the edges all the way around. I'll use it for drainage or a stand or something in the middle of it. I don't know. I'll make something up later and pretend like I meant to do it. But for right now, I'm about wiped out and I'm about done for the day. And tomorrow, or actually maybe tomorrow, maybe next weekend, because this thing's going to take a bit to set up, we'll put the stand here for the water tank. And yes, this concrete is wicked soupy. If you're wondering about that, that's because I just like to pour it wet and let the rotation of the earth level the shit out, because it's less work. I'll post again on this well project probably next weekend. Y'all have a good one. Howdy, February 24th, 2024. Primary day in South Carolina, so I get to go vote against our old governor in about an hour or so. Got the stand for the well pump built behind me here. I'm going to head off to Lowe's, get me some concrete, some quickset just to load up the corners a bit, make it a bit more stable. It's pretty solid, it ain't going anywhere, but why not? Also, picked up an additional well filter, which I'll be installing in a little bit here. Got myself a new 120 volt to 12 volt power supply, which I'll be hooking up. And I plan on dragging the tank out here later today and setting it up on top of this stand. So it should be a fun weekend. Be back in a bit. I got to run to Lowe's, get some other stuff to do, and I'm going to start working. Alrighty, last week I tried a 12 amp, allegedly, 120 volt to 12 volt converter. My pump pulls 7 amps. At 7 amps, that converter was dropping down to 3 volts. It was useless. It went back to Amazon. So I went ahead and bought this one for this weekend's testing. This is a 30 amp rated converter. 120 to 12 volts. It is adjustable. I tweaked it to about 13.8. That's your little adjustment knob. It is not very precise, but close enough. So I got it jerry-rigged together. If it works good, I will make this a more permanent setup with an actual power off switch, because that'd be nice. And I'm going to go plug this bugger in and see if it'll power the well pump. Alright, got this thing set up, ready to be plugged in. Let's see if it works. Oops, if I can plug it in without knocking it off the bucket. And apparently this bugger will run the pump. So that's good. Right, bud? Now, I'm just going to let this run for a bit because I want to see if the water is coming out any less brown after having the marble torpedo installed in the pump. Everything you're seeing right now is what's running out of the pipe because there's a check valve down there. So in about 20-30 seconds, it'll either turn a little bit brown or nasty brown. Okay, here it comes. Alright, so there's our rust. And I know that looks nasty, but it's not as bad as it was. So this is going to pretty much prevent me from using a float switch system until I get this rust issue resolved. And alright. Well, apparently we're going to have a bit of rust for a little while here, so I'm just going to let this run out and move on to the next phase. Before I started putting that power adapter together there, I did pour 3 bags of quick-set concrete into the corners here. That's setting up nicely. Make sure this thing don't go anywhere. And had a little bit extra, so I put some in the middle there too. And that's what the platform looks like. I put 1 brick sideways on the bottom, so I can get hoses and stuff to drain out the back if I need to. Alright, on to the next thing to do today. Picked up this filter housing and a filter from freshwatersystems.com. Company's up in Greenville, South Carolina. You know, support your local business. And it was a whole lot cheaper than what you're going to find this stuff on Amazon. It was under $40 for this filter housing and the filter, or the treatment filter that's in there. It's a Calcite filter. I'll stick a little picture up there showing what it is. But it's supposed to do better than regular calcium in raising your pH. So filter's already in there. I just got to put some of these 1/2-inch male pipe thread to PEX adapters on this bugger and put it in line. Alright, I got the freshwater systems filter hooked up there, the additional calcium filter to help increase the pH. Replace the cartridge in the iron filter. It's been running about 5 minutes. You can see how quickly it's sucking up that iron there. And system's running, no leaks. It's filtering out the end of that red pipe there. Gonna slap an elbow on that, drag the tank in here, slap another elbow, and set it up to feed the tank. So gotta see if I can wheel that thing out here on the dolly, and we'll get her set up. Alright, I got the tank hauled down here, and now I'm just going to go fetch my wife and see if she can help me lift this thing onto the stand there. It's not wicked heavy, but it is obviously quite bulky. Alright, the thing is up where it belongs. I do have a cover for this as well, and some other things that are going to be going on in a few minutes, but it is where it is. So I'm going to put a elbow on that piece of pipe that's running water right now, and then start just letting water run through and flush out any dust or anything that might be in there. I bought a couple of extra caps because I didn't want to blow a hole in the original one, so took a 3/4 inch drill bit, blew a hole in the top of this one, got my pipe leading down there. It is filling slowly, and just kind of elbowed off of that. This is all temporary, but I always say that, and then it ends up lasting like 20 years. So, alright, I'm going to go get the cover, and this thing's almost wrapped up. Alright, that cover went on pretty easy. That was another Amazon buy there. The primary reason to have a cover is to keep sunlight from getting on your water, causing algae to grow. So basically it's a big UV blocker there. That was like 20-25 bucks on Amazon, I forget. And there is an opening up on the top, so you can still run your hose in there and keep it all covered up. Just a couple more attachments to go. Alright, it's going to be a lot harder to see once I install it. So this is an IBC tote 2-inch adapter to hose adapter. About 8 bucks on Amazon. So that's going on there. Just your standard 1 to 2 splitter there. So just gonna screw that on. I'll take a bit more video and call it a day. Alright, well the IBC to hose adapter, that works fine. This little cheap Chinese Amazon splitter is a piece of shit. That's just leaking. I don't think it's supposed to do that. I've never seen one before that did that, but that might be the problem there. So that piece of crap's going back, but otherwise it's tight. Alrighty, progress for today. We got ourselves a new working 120 volt power supply for the well. That's good. We have a new filtration system upgrade, adding that calcium filter there to help increase the pH. We got the stand built, we got the tank on the stand, and we got a nice little cover on the stand so it looks all nice and pretty and keeps the UV rays out. We got a nice handy little spot underneath here for eventually moving the power supply and stuff. Keep it out of the elements underneath here. We have got, I think there's a measurement gauge on here somewhere. We've got about 55 gallons of water in there. It is still pumping up. Got my little getting up thing here. We got the water going right through the top there. No UV exposure. And we got some really shady looking plumbing going on here. But the plumbing will get better. That's easy enough. All the big bulk work is done. Had to autograph it there as well. I decided to put the power supply underneath the well tank, or the water tank. So we're now running it in a semi-sheltered thing off 120 volts. Alright, this will probably just about wrap it up for the well pump project. I'll be doing some more water tests and stuff like that in the near future, just to make sure everything is still good. So if you enjoyed this series, please like, subscribe. I will probably end up cutting all these videos into one really long video, so you don't have to deal with a playlist drama. But for now, y'all have yourselves a great day. Hope this helped give you some ideas, and y'all take care of yourselves.